Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So today's update is going to ruffle a few feathers, and I know some people don't like when this kind of stuff comes out, but I'm here to report on the latest goings on in the galaxy far, far away, and today we have a pretty insane update. This comes from Variety.com. In a new piece where they talk about the future of Disney and the new CEO Josh D'Amaro, Variety spoke to sources at Disney that reveal the truth about how the company sees the future of Lucasfilm. And to be honest, I think they're being very blunt, maybe a bit presumptive, but there is some truth in there. So let's dive straight in. Cutting right to the chase, it seems like Disney doesn't have much faith in the Mandalorian and Grogu. The one movie they do believe in, however, is Star Wars Starfighter coming next May. Now, I've been saying from day one, Starfighter should have come first. The premise sounds incredible, the cast is amazing, timeline-wise we're pushing the boundaries beyond episode 9, there is a lot going for it. But I don't think the Mando movie should be written off just yet. There's always a chance it performs better than expected, and the most recent trailer was very impressive. I loved it. I do have more to say on this Mando versus Starfighter thing in just a moment, but first, let's get to the quote. They say this: "Internally, there are concerns that an unconventional 36-second Super Bowl spot failed to generate the kind of excitement the marketing team was hoping to spark. The film itself is something of a question mark, given that it's based on a streaming series, and consequently may not seem like a big screen proposition for any but the most die-hard Baby Yoda lovers." Oh, people on Twitter are not going to be happy about this. But listen, this is just someone at Disney trying to reflect an overall company sentiment. They mentioned the Super Bowl debacle, so I'm not sure if this interview was before the final trailer dropped, but they seem worried. And it makes sense. The Mandalorian and Grogu was always going to be something of an experiment, taking a Disney Plus Star Wars show and putting it in cinemas. That in and of itself is a risk, because as a fandom we've long debated if The Mandalorian is still relevant. It still has its fans, but is that $500 million worth of fans? Or does that even matter? Are the casual cinema goers and the families and the kids' birthday parties gonna make up for it? Then factor in, this is the first Star Wars movie in years, and it makes sense they just don't know how this is gonna perform. It could go either way. It could do Zootopia numbers, or be the next solo A Star Wars story. But it doesn't sound like Disney has much faith in it. But the one movie they are banking on being a huge success is Sean Levy's Starfighter. And this is what I was saying the other day. It feels like 2027 is going to be a bigger year than 2026. The 50th anniversary of the franchise, the re-release of the theatrical cut, all of the merch and maybe a steelbook associated with it, Star Wars Celebration in Los Angeles, and a new Star Wars movie set after episode 9. And now they say this: there's a sense that Star Wars Starfighter, a spin-off from Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy, is more likely to satisfy fans when it hits theaters next spring, with sources who've seen footage praising Ryan Gosling's performance and suggesting Levy has recaptured the franchise's spirit of fun. That is pretty huge, and I have to say, even though we know the movie is wrapped, it's still pretty cool to hear that there's footage out there, and folks at the House of Mouse have seen it and liked it. And this might be something of a long shot, but you never know. The marketing for the movie might start this year. We might get a teaser at D23 Expo, or somewhere else. But the point stands. The Mandalorian and Grogu is being treated as a let's wait and see scenario, whereas they're treating Starfighter like a sure bet. It could go either way. If you ask your average Star Wars fan, they might lean towards Starfighter just based on the star power, what it promises, exploring a new time period and all of that. But I can also see a scenario where Mando's box office trumps that of Starfighter. It could be a Zootopia 2 scenario. Never underestimate the power of Grogu. I'm excited for both, let me just start by saying that, but for me it's Starfighter. Even though we've not seen a single trailer for it, Mia Goth as a Darkseid user, Matt Smith as a villain, Amy Adams in Star Wars. Are you kidding me? I was pumped the second it was announced. And so to know Disney staffers have seen footage and they enjoyed it, that's even better. And they say the movie that's going to satisfy Star Wars fans the most is Starfighter, not Mando. So what do they mean by this? Both are being marketed at this point as fun, action, adventure, but just based on initial impressions, it sounds as though Starfighter is going to be more well-rounded. Visually, I think it's going to be gorgeous. For action and cinematography, they've got Claudia Miranda from Top Gun Maverick. There are Force users, all new characters, no homework needed, you didn't have to have seen any of the Disney Plus shows. And for some fans, if they can guarantee there's going to be no Rey in it, then this could be a second chance at the sequel time period, with new heroes and new villains. not to mention on-location filming. And following Project Hail Mary, cinemagoers are going to associate Ryan Gosling more and more with sci-fi. So in a way, for his reputation, this is a good fit. There's a lot going for Starfighter. Also Mando, I would say based on the new trailer, Pedro Pascal showing his face, possible connections to the wider Remnant and the wider Mandoverse, Grogu following a Yoda trajectory, lots of aliens, fun creatures, chase sequences. Both movies are very different, have a very different allure. The question isn't just which is going to pull in a bigger box office, because The Mandalorian and Grogu had a lower budget, but rather, which of the two is going to reach a wider audience? Which is going to do more for the Star Wars brand? And from the sounds of this article, they're legitimately wondering if viewership on Disney Plus is going to translate to big screen numbers, if people are going to show up to the cinema, or just wait for it to drop on Disney Plus. So these are all questions no one can answer at this point. But Disney is concerned. They're worried, and the Super Bowl backlash was at the heart of this. I wonder if they've changed their minds since the final trailer dropped. And on this whole thing of Baby Yoda fans, it is true that Grogu has his own dedicated fan club. He's also got enormous appeal with kids and families, but if you want to talk about wide-scale appeal, Force Awakens level of we're back, Star Wars is back, Starfighter would be a better bet. If we're being deadly honest, if we're just being frank with no BS, it's going to take a lot of time, rebuilding of trust, consistency, and genuine change to get back to the levels of anticipation from like 2015, 2016. But Lucasfilm under Dave Filoni has to do the work. There is no way around it. No shortcuts. It's gonna take a lot, but it's gonna be worth it. The 50th anniversary next year is definitely gonna give Star Wars a huge boost. People will be generally talking about Star Wars again, so I think that's gonna be a big initiative. But if you're talking about new stories, a new trilogy, or even standalones that get the level of hype as The Force Awakens, they need to rebuild that trust. Kathy being gone is another renewed bit of hope. And I wish I could say everything's great, it's all hunky-dory and there's no problems, but even Disney admits, under the new Disney administration, under Josh D'Amaro, there is a lot of work to be done, and they highlight Lucasfilm and Marvel. So how are things going to change? Well, according to Variety sources, Josh is not afraid to surround himself with people who know more about something than he does. This is a notable change from Bob Chapek and even Bob Iger. They say, quote, "If D'Amaro is going to revitalize Disney's franchises such as Lucasfilm, he must maintain healthy relationships, notably with Dana Walden, considered to be one of the industry's strongest creative executives. After all, D'Amaro lacks any film or TV experience." So I guess it's really up in the air how this is all going to affect Star Wars and Star Wars movies and shows, but the staffers seem to think that Dana Walden and Josh D'Amaro are actually going to listen to Dave. They don't mention Filoni by name, but Walden has been praised by other studios for creative freedom, and someone who surprisingly has a lot of positive things to say about these two is Seth MacFarlane, someone who I've been a big fan of. I'm a big Family Guy fan, a big American Dad fan.
Grogu.
And in this article, Seth praises Walden's self-assuredness, notably because according to Seth, she didn't Disneyfy Family Guy, so hopefully the same is true of Star Wars, I guess. Everything to do with the future of the franchise is mere conjecture. All we can talk about at this point are confirmed projects for the near future, and those still have Kathleen Kennedy's fingerprints. Disney was like, the shows have stopped making money, they're not making us any profit, time to bring Star Wars back to the big screen. But what do you guys make of this? What do you make of Disney's comments? Do you think Star Wars is going to undergo what they call the Josh effect? Is he going to work with Dave to make projects we never even dreamed of? And which of the two confirmed Star Wars movies do you think is going to do best? Let me know in the comments down below, my dear friends, and if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you, always.